freelancers, all artists, all you people who do not have a conventional employment contract is in place, all you part-timers, all you hustlers, all you entrepreneurs, all you entrepreneurs. This video is for you today, so let's roll it. Hello to you beautiful humans, and welcome back to another episode of Mo's Money Mondays on Mo's Corner, and the penultimate episode of Retirement Funds. Now, this video is a month overdue, but let me tell you, girl has been going through it technologically, mentally, lifeically. Woo! It's been lit, but we move on and we get on with life. So today we are going to be talking all things retirement annuities. Yes. Now, I need to first mention that everything that I say in this video should not be considered advice, but as information. If you need any advice, please contact an FSCA registered FSP, and you can find them on the FSCA website, which I will link in the description box below. Yes, of course. Okay, now let's get into it. What is a retirement annuity? Now, a retirement annuity, as per all the retirement funds that I've explained before, is an investment vehicle that you can use to save for your retirement. And let me tell you, 60 is not that far along, unless you want to be very dependent on SASSA Modende, aka when you retire you will not save. But if you don't want to be dependent on SASSA and waiting on the Modende lines, you will pay attention to this and save for your retirement as of now. And I might be sitting very casually today, but it is a very important subject. Now you may be wondering, how do you get a retirement annuity? How do you get yourself a retirement annuity? Because all the ones that I've explained before, they had all these conditions that had to be in place for you to be able to access one. A retirement annuity you can access with any investment company. A lot of them offer retirement annuities, retirement annuity investments, but you have to be very, very, very financially savvy and investment savvy to be able to do it yourself without any financial advice beforehand, because you're going to have to choose funds that you want your money to be invested in, and you don't just want to go into any fund all willy-nilly. You have to be very cognizant of the fact that this is your long-term retirement savings and this is your life savings basically. So you need something that is going to be able to weather the up and down going of the markets and all of that. So if you're financially very savvy and you trust yourself in that regard, or you believe that you can do your research very, very well into funds that you want to invest in, you can do that and access the investment companies yourself. But otherwise, please go to a financial advisor and get advice and just get some direction and guidelines on how to go about this. Right. Now, how do you start it? Once you've identified which company you want to go into a retirement fund with and what funds you want to invest in, and you figured out all that due diligence, how do you get money into this retirement annuity? Okay, one, you can, when you leave your employer, you can transfer your occupational fund. That would be your pension fund or your provident fund. When you leave your employer, you can transfer that money into a retirement annuity fund. As I explained in my previous videos on occupational fund, this comes with some restrictions on being able to access the funds, right? You can also transfer from your preservation fund. That would be a preservation pension fund or a preservation provident fund. And same as I just said now with the occupational fund, there will be some restrictions on that. You can, however, because this is not just limited to people who have employment contracts in place. You can just go into it if you are every Tom, Dick and Willie you can go into this investment. Why did I just name just guys? If you're every Togo, Nomsa, and Yvette, yes, you can go into this investment as well. Some companies, depending on what company it is, some will have a 10,000 minimum lump sum that you have to put into this investment, and I've seen some will have a 20,000 minimum lump sum. But you can also do a debit order of as little as 500 that you can save into this retirement vehicle. So if you don't have 10,000 rand to just put into a retirement annuity, you can start up with just a debit order of as little as 500 rand and have that running every month going into that investment. Now, I know you say, nah, but I'm a hustler, every month 500, like, what if I don't have money and then COVID is happening and all of that? Relax. You can stop your debit order at any time, given that you give your investment company sufficient notice. So usually it'll be like 5 to 7 days before the first of the month. You can ask them to stop your debit order, and you can reinstate it at any point when you feel like you are financially settled again. Capiche? Capiche. So let's recap. Retirement annuity, everyone can access it. When you start earning money and you feel like you need to start saving for retirement, from as young as age 18, you can access that, and you can put in as little as 500 rand per month. Okay. Now we move on to the good news with retirement annuities, because I know a lot of people are just like, yeah, but I save money for retirement where I could just use it for the needs I have right now, especially if you're a hustler or a freelancer. Like, jobs are not permanent, but retirement annuity contributions are tax deductible. So what that means is that you can get your contributions back from SARS. Whatever you contribute, you can get back from SARS when you put in your returns. Wow. When you declare your returns at the end of the year, you can claim your retirement fund monies back from SARS up to a minimum of 27.5 of your income. So whatever income you make that year, SARS is going to be like, okay, you contributed X amount and your income was Y amount, and then 27.5% of that Y amount, that's going to be the cap of the money that you get from SARS, up to a limit of 350,000 per person per year. So if your 27.5% that you can get back is over 350,000, the maximum amount that you can get from SARS is going to be 350,000. I hope that makes sense. It's a very simple but complicated calculation, as all things tax usually are. But I have gotten feedback from a couple of friends, and I will have some interactive sessions on how to kind of go about calculating these things and how to kind of apply it to your life as it stands right now. All right. Okay, the next topic is access and restrictions to retirement annuity. Now, unlike with an occupational fund, where you are allowed a once-off withdrawal before you leave the fund, and when you have preserved it, you get a once-off partial or full withdrawal. With a retirement annuity, you do not get that unless it is under these conditions. One, if you feel like you want to withdraw your money and that investment is under 7,000, then you can withdraw it. You can only get access to it as early withdrawal due to like sickness, so that is certified and you're permanently kind of can't work and do all of that, and those need to be certified and approved. Then you can access it as early retirement, and that will be at lump sum retirement tables. You can access it when you fully financially immigrate. That is to say, you go to the South African Reserve Bank and say, okay, I'm taking all that is mine and I am moving to another country. As has been known to happen with young people finding new opportunities overseas and all of that. So when you take your stuff overseas, you are able to withdraw from the retirement annuity fund, but that is going to be at retirement withdrawal lump sum tables, and I've explained that in the previous videos. If you haven't watched that, please go and watch, or I will link them at the end of this video. And then the only other time that you can access your retirement annuity is at age 55. So when you retire. I mean, it can also be accessed when you die, if you die before age 55, God forbid. But those benefits are not going to be enjoyed by you. They will be enjoyed by your beneficiaries. Which brings me to the next topic. Beneficiary nominations. So, as mentioned with occupational funds and preservation funds, your retirement annuity is governed by a board of trustees, and it will have its own rules, and the rules will follow retirement fund legislation, but the board of trustees will handle the day-to-day goings on of the retirement fund, right? So when you nominate beneficiaries, it's just going to be a guideline on who you would like that money to go into. But as previously mentioned, your beneficiaries are only a guideline to the board of trustees. They will investigate who should be getting money. So if you have children out of wedlock that you have not provided for, if you have financial dependents, like your parents are dependent on you and all of that, they will be investigating that, and the board of trustees will decide who gets the money accordingly, right? All right, and then you come to retirement, the most important part, and why you are saving for retirement in the first place. So when you get to retirement age and you're like, okay, now it's time to retire, I need to access my money, what happens? So with a retirement annuity, you are only able to get 1/3 of the money that you have saved as cash, and then the 2/3 must go buy you a living annuity, which will give you a monthly income. A living annuity is a completely separate investment that we will delve into some other time in the near future. Okay, so I'm going to give an example. Say you have 1 million rand saved at retirement by the time you retire, and then you're like, okay guys, I need to retire now. Divide that into 3 equal parts, and the 333,000, that's 1/3. 333,000 of that amount you can take cash, tax-free, dependent on whether you haven't taken anything from your occupational fund or from your preservation fund before, or a severance package. So if your tax slate is clean, you can take that amount tax-free, up to 500,000, but you're only allowed like 1/3, so 333,000. And if you have more saved, then only up to 500,000 will be tax-free. The other 2 parts have to go into a guaranteed annuity or a living annuity to pay you a pension every month, so that you are not dependent on the government to give you income when you are sitting down at home and not working anymore, right? The only exception in this is that if at the time you get to retirement age and your money is less than 247,500, then you can take all that money in cash. You do not need to take that money into a living annuity. All right. Okay guys, that has been me today with the retirement annuity. Tune in next week when I talk about beneficiary funds, and that will be the last official episode of the retirement fund series. I will have like Q&As right at the end, but I'm not calling that part of the series, whatever. I will have a Q&A after beneficiary funds, but beneficiary funds is going to be discussing where your money goes after you die, and whether you have beneficiaries or you don't, that is going to be tackled next week. In the meantime, guys, please ask me any questions. Hit me up in my DMs on Instagram to ask any questions. My handle is @mutlato_, or on Facebook. If you're a friend, you can ask questions. But also, please share this video, like, subscribe, ask questions below, so that I can answer them in my Q&A session the next time when I do have it. Jeepers, the next time. I haven't had one yet. When I do have a Q&A session. Otherwise, adios muchachos. Peace and light.